We had a litter of 11 silver fox born, and they're 6 weeks old now. So I'm going to go through them, and I'm looking for freezer culls for dog food. And when I'm doing that is because, well, we feed our dogs raw, and not every kit in the litter is going to thrive, especially in a big litter like this. So you can easily see the size difference between these two. This one is just not, there's no muscle on the back. He's got no muscle on his loin. His legs are lacking. 6 weeks, he only weighs 2.2 pounds. Litter mate, these are both bucks. He's a full pound ahead of the other one. And at 6 weeks, this one is just not an acceptable weight, acceptable muscle density, anything. I don't want this getting into my program later. So for me, this is a hard freezer cold dog food. I'm not going to keep this around. So this is my cull coop right there. Need another cage. He's nicely muscled. And you can see, even at 6 weeks, you can see the fullness in his loin. This one's slightly shyer than the one I really like. He's going to get a pass for now, but at 8 weeks, he might be a freezer cull for our own personal use. He's lacking a little bit right there at that hip. You can feel he's real bony on his legs, so he's probably going to be pinched later. This one here is nice and muscled, decent density. Like, when you push on the muscle, there's actually, you can feel it like a steak. You don't want to be like dimply. It's not dense muscle, and that's not what you want in a meat breed. I'll tell you what I mean when I say steak. So I'm talking about the muscle density. So if you're looking at a steak and how it's cooked, this is raw. And then when you put your fingers together, this would be rare, medium rare, medium, and well done. I like my steak at medium rare. When you're wanting density and a muscle in your rabbit, you want well done. You want really, really dense, nice, firm muscling. All three of these boys left are nice. You can feel it when you pick them up. There's some heft to them. You want to feel that weight, especially in the back end, but all the way through. Same with this guy. You can feel he's lacking compared to those two. So he'll probably be a freezer call later for me, but he's not anything like this one over here. Let's see what he weighs. Yeah. So he's not bad. So that leaves us with that gives us $5. That's a lot of bucks. And there's no way I'll keep all 5 of these later. There's 5 boys to grow out to 8 weeks and reevaluate. Now I'm to the does. I have 4 does here, so I don't have many options on does. Just seems to be a buck here. She's got decent density. Her spine, I can't feel her spine. She's not all ribby. Like, she's really nicely muscled at 6 weeks. Ooh, she's a chunky girl. I'll put you guys in here. This doe's a little bit looser. You can feel hip bones, pin bones, a little bit of her spine. She's not bad. Is this the same doe? That's the same doe. Alright, let's take a look at you. Ooh, she might be the widest of all the does. So we'll see. We'll come back at 8 weeks and we'll redo these. I'm going to tattoo them and give them numbers so I can tell everyone apart. The last doe in here, I know that she's a hard cull. Itty bitty little girl. She's just, there is nothing to her. She's so tiny. One point so at 6 weeks, 1.7 pounds is not an ideal weight. That is, she got nothing to her. There is no muscle. She's just all bone. And there's nothing wrong. There's no parasites. There's no reason she should be this small. It's just a failure to thrive, genetic mishap, whatever you want to call it. And it happens. Let's pull out. Come here. She could easily fit inside her sister. Look at that. Normally, I would have culled this doe a long time ago. I could see that she wasn't growing, and I knew that she was failing to thrive. And she's cute, so it's hard to do it. But I don't want this in my program ever, because if I breed this, if I keep this, this is what I'm going to get. And it's not what you want. So removing this from your program, however you decide is the best option. For us, the easiest option is dog food. There's just not enough meat on them to even process out. So she'll go in the freezer. We are a couple weeks after we've already assessed the first time. Now I'm going through the litter again, and I have numbered and given everybody a letter according to a doe or a buck. So this is 2D. So this is a doe. I'm going to sex it first, make sure that it's actually a doe and I didn't miss a buck somewhere. It is a doe. Checking for toenails and toes on each foot. You want to make sure there's no missing toes if you plan to show your rabbit. And you want to make sure that all your toenails are the correct color. And fox for black should be dark. Dark or as dark as possible, not white, not clear, see-through. They should have some coloring towards the nail bed at very minimum. Everybody's all toes, all toenails. You can even see on the belly, some of her silvering is coming on her belly, and that gives you a good indicator on how silvered they're going to be. Things to look for in the belly as well are any umbilical hernias or white spots from the umbilical cord. And that is, if you're going to show again, everything I'm going to talk about heads towards the show world because we do show competitively. A white spot on an umbilical cord or from an umbilical cord is a disqualification. You do not want that. I'm going to get her posed up. She doesn't look like a bad little doe from her top line. She's pretty wide in her back end already. She comes right down to the table. You want to feel that spine all the way down. You don't want it going underneath, and you don't want it sliding out. She's a little bit weaker in her shoulders than I would like, but they're also 8 weeks old, so I can only be so picky at this point in time. I would like her hip to be a little bit less hippie, and that's something that you kind of get a feel for over time. I would like her to have a little more meat right where her hips come together, and she is lacking ever so slightly right now. But as she ages, I feel like she might widen out a touch. So we'll come back and look at her. So she's going to get a pass for this time. This is 2D. And then we have the next doe. This is 1D. Flip her over and sex her. Always double, triple, quadruple sex, because bucks get missed in doe pens all the time. All right, she is in fact a girl. Get the toenails all on that foot. And of course, this is the first time they've been out and really looked over, so they're not going to be wanting to do what we want them to do today. Front foot looks good. Now she is going to be a heavier silver doe. If the camera can pick it up, you can already see how bright she is on her belly. She's also fairer boned than the other doe. You can feel it in her front legs. The other doe is a little bit stockier, and she is just She just doesn't have the mass feeling that the other one does. She's a little feistier than her sister. Come here. Okay. Good, decent looking top line, but where she fails me is these shoulders. Her shoulders are incredibly weak. Like the other doe had some beef to her, but she doesn't start her rise till right here. So that is three is generous. She's got 4 fingers widths between her shoulder and the start of her rise, which means as she ages into an adult, she's going to get longer and longer here and then come up. So she's almost going to look like a Flemish. And you do not want that. You can see it the more I flatten it out. So this doe is going to be a freezer cull for me. I like her peak and I like back here, but she's going to just, I know this line and I know she's just going to continue to get flatter and flatter as she ages. And compare that with the fine bone, with the over silvering, she is not going to be a show prospect at all. So she's just, I need meat in my freezer, so she is going there. All right. The only other doe in the litter, because this was a litter of almost all bucks. This girl's got some more heft to her. Immediately just picking her up, I could feel a lot more mass versus the D1 we looked at. And this is D3. A little poop on her. Let's make sure it's a doe. It is a girl. She is going to be probably on the heavier side for silvering. Again. It seems redundant to check the nails over and over and over again, but it is so easy to miss something so simple. And then it is just a waste of your money on the show table. It really is. So I don't see anything popping out at me that I dislike underneath, so let's go to the top. Much, much better. She starts immediately at her neck. I mean, dude, I could fit maybe a finger between her neck and the start of her rise if I really, I mean, she is right there. I think she might peak a little forward and flat as she matures, but we're going to have to just watch and see. I don't know. She's got a wide loin width. Goodness. She's got a wide set base, and she comes right down to the table. So if I had to pick a favorite right now, out of the does, it's D3 or 3D. Gosh. Now to the bucks. Now I have to be really hard on these boys because there's 5 in this litter. I would like to get down to 3. I really don't need another buck in my program, but I will keep a buck who excels. Just from him moving around and looking at him moving around, I don't like him already. He's very narrow. But let's flip him over and sex him. He's a boy. He's feisty. He is over silvered also. I will try to show you his belly. So when I'm going through my bucks, really important things to me are temperament. I want a chill buck who's going to listen to me on the table. There's nothing more fun than having a buck who is unruly, doesn't want to pose, and likes to fling pee, because all of mine like to fling pee. So, as of right now, he's over silvered. He has that weaker front end. I can feel it, and he doesn't even want to pose down because he is weaker in that front end. Come here. This is 2B. I don't remember if I said that. Okay. I'm going to try to make him pose. And you can see how flat he is. I mean, I have to space my fingers apart for those shoulders. That is not what I want. Not in a herd sire. Absolutely not in a herd sire. He's fair boned. His leg bones are so petite and flat and thin. And you can see he's long in his shoulder. Let me get him to pose. He comes up properly in the hip line. I mean, he does do that. He doesn't have a booty. He is going to be straight and long and flat, and there's no loin to go under down to the table. See, he is a freezer cull. All right. This is 5B. Again, already looking at being over silvered. It is, in fact, a buck. Stay. Stop. You can see silvering on his belly. He's going to be pretty bright. Over silvered. So let's look at him. He might not be terrible. I might put him aside just to see what the other boys look like. No. Changed my mind. He's a freezer cull. His neck is over here and the start of his peak's over here. That's too much. That's a gap that's going to continue to get wider and longer and flatter. He's weak right up here. He's got decently dense loin. He is bony. He is a little under. He's got width to him. He's got some depth to him. But the flat shoulders, I just have no patience for that anymore. So 5B is a freezer cull. We have 3B. All right. Silvering is looking better on his belly. Might be promising. He is a boy. He's calm. I like this so far. No, stop. Toenails look good. All toenails present and accounted for. He is a thicker boned rabbit. Not heavy bone, but definitely thicker than the last of his litter mates. Okay. He does not want to pose. So I'm going to put him aside for a minute. I'm going to come back to him. 3B. We're going to come back to him. Because if he won't pose, I don't have the patience anymore to continue to try. All right. So sadly, I'm not even... This is 1B. He doesn't feel like he's grown at all since we looked at the litter that last time. He is so bony and petite and small compared to anything I would keep. It is in fact a buck. I will get the scale and I'll weigh him and see what he weighs, but he can't be 2.5 pounds, maybe. And the muscle's just not there. Not like it should be. I would, nope, that one goes in the freezer. Is 1B. All right, this is 4B. I'm gonna sex him. It is a buck. Has all his nails. Belly looks a little light on silvering, or a little too heavy. Whenever I say light, I mean too bright. I don't know why I have a habit of saying too light. He actually has a decent body. So might give him a pass for 2 weeks. Yeah. And then we'll try to pose 3B up again. So 4B and 3B. Yes. 3B, yes. I like the feel. Immediately when I take him out of the cage, you can feel he's well put together. Like if I pick him up, he doesn't feel like he's gonna fall apart or slinky on me. He is solid. Like his front shoulders and his back end are just nice and tightly well put together. It's what I really want in my bucks to throw to my does. My bucks have to have a short shoulder. If they have a long shoulder, they're going to pass it to every single one of their babies, and it's just going to be a compounding problem. And it depends on what you're willing to allow in your genetics, on what you breed into it. If you always allow long shoulders, you will always get long shoulders. If you allow over silvering, you will get over silvering. You have to cull out the genetic you don't want to see. And so you have to pick and choose your compromises. I was hoping he would pose up again nice for us. So the buck 3B ended up never posing for me. So he went into the freezer very early on. At 9 weeks, I culled all the rest that didn't make the cuts for keeping, showing, selling, anything like that. They were hard freezer culls. So he joined them. Sad, I wish I would have been able to pose him a little bit better, but that's just how it is. I'm going to start with the only buck I have left. This is 4B. He's still, I love nice thick shoulders that start and come up to the rise, but being the only buck left in this litter, this is what I have left. He's a little bit of, he's delayed in his rise, so I could fit 3 fingers between his head and where the start of his rise is, and that's a lot. It's a lot of space. I would like 2, maybe 1, but he's the only buck left, so he's what I have. Posed up, so you can see he's a little bit longer. Comes up nice, and he's a decent rise. His profile is decent. Where he lacks, he does come down to the table, but where he lacks, he's a little hippie, so he's pinched at the table, not in his loin, but at the table where his feet kind of V in just ever so slightly. And his shoulders are weaker because he has that length between them, so he doesn't have as much muscle up here. You can see I can wrap my whole hand around this upper area. And he is a little spiny, he's a little bony. So I don't love him. Honestly, he will probably get eaten. He doesn't have that oomph that I'm wanting. Okay. So not loving the buck. Here is the doe. This is 2D. She's a nice dark color to her. Compared to the buck, kind of off in his color as well. I'm not even looking at silvering yet. I'm just looking at body type right now. She does fight me a little bit on posing, which tells me she has weaker shoulders. Usually rabbits that fight you don't have strong shoulders, and they don't want to pose like this because it doesn't feel good to them. They want to be longer. So again, let's find out where her rise is. I can fit, she's just like that buck, 3 fingers between the base of her skull. Her shoulders are flat and her rise is right here. So it's a big gap. Not ideal for when you're wanting as much loin as you can over the entire body, because that means you're getting less loin, you're getting more shoulders, you're getting more bone. So you're going to have weight up here. That makes it seem like your rabbit's heavier, but it's not. It's bone. It's bone length and less muscle. Posed up, she's decent. She's got a good rise to her, but she's delayed in her rise. And she's a little flat. See how my hand can sit? She should be a little bit taller, about right there. My hand can do it. Come up about right there and turn over. So she is going to be a little bit flat. She's not a bad doe, though. I really like the fur that she has coming in. I mean, at 11 weeks, she looks pretty decent. She would either be kept as a brood doe or sold. This is probably the only one I would sell in the litter. The buck, I just don't feel like he has enough potential to make meat, being as pinched as he is at the table, and just, he doesn't feel quite right. He's a little bony, where she is not. Her muscle comes right up to her spine, where you don't feel every little bone on her. And this doe has been my favorite of the litter since we took him out first. This is 3D. This doe is beefy. She I can't fit any fingers. Her rise starts right here. And she comes off that immediately. Now, I wish she continued her rise in a little bit more of a slope, like more upwards. She does flatten out, but she has nice full shoulders. She's nice full loin, and she's very, very even at that table. Like her loin's even, her feet are even. She's not pinched at all. I'll do some bottom views so you guys can see underneath what I'm talking about on the feet as well. And I'll do some top views so you can see how weak the shoulders are on the other two versus this one. This one will be my keeper. I will watch her mature for a few more weeks, and then she might get set into my show string if she continues to mature decently. She has a decent coat. I mean, it's coming in, so she needs a few more weeks to see if she will actually make the show cuts, but I bet she will. All right, so here we are at the top views. This is the doe that we liked. This is the doe that might potentially make sale cuts, and you can see how much weaker she is here than this doe is. I mean, a full hand, whereas I have to cup this doe. And this is the buck, and again, he's weaker, and he's bony, spiny, very spiny. So he'll be off. A lot of times you'll hear off in flesh condition, bony, spiny. He's going to be considered off because he just does not have that muscle mass to come up to his spine. And it's ever so slightly. It's not like a lot. But if you feel between the three, there's an obvious difference where she is, her muscle is nice and dense. Her muscle it's dense, but it's not like the other doe. And then he is a little bit softer, wide loin, but soft loin. And that could alter with age, but I want my rabbits to be meaty early. I don't want to be waiting 16 to 20 weeks to have to get meat off the carcass. So I cull early, and I cull for meat type, and I do this over and over and over again every litter I do. And it has improved my growth rates, it's improved my muscle density, it's improved everything all around for my line and for the breed, I feel like. Top view of the two does next to each other. The top doe is the 2D, and the bottom one is 3D, the doe I intend to keep and show. I do know that she's flat, so I think that's going to hurt her, but she is a very well-muscled doe, and she's better in type than both her dam or sire, so she is replacing both of them after this. And by no means did I go over everything that needs to be looked at when you're judging your grow outs. We didn't even touch white spots, teeth, eye color, looking at evenness and silvering. This just gives a general idea of what I'm looking for in muscle mass in my litters, and shortness and body type and beefiness. I want to see thriving animals continue on in my herd. I don't want to see something weak and lacking coming in, because I'm just going to take steps back, and I don't want to do that every year. All right, guys. Well, I hope you found this video helpful.